Okay. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. It is Cold's Day. Holy cow, I'm freezing. We are beginning our third magnet today while following a Bob Ross tutorial. If Twitch would cooperate, that would be great. There we go. Oh wait, no. Haha. Wrong thing. There we go. That's the right command. So we're gonna pin the link in the chat where you can go to find that message or that link. It'll take you to the YouTube channel for Bob Ross. And we are working on the third tutorial of season 31. I decided to start backwards. We've dabbled around in the front long enough. Let's do a wander to the end and work backwards. So we're gonna start on season 31 for this project. We've completed the other 2 tutorials of this season so far. Reflections of Column, I think, and Before the Snowfall. So we are on, what was this? Winding Stream. This one doesn't seem too bad, so I think we can figure this guy out. So I am needle felting a magnet, essentially. So, I have a wood, just a thin piece of wood, backing that I'm going to attach our magnet to. Now, this is a 3-inch by 3-inch square. Okay. I might have to zoom this in a little bit more. Maybe. We will see. Alright. So, since this is the size of our backing, and the phone's gonna ring. Alright, sorry. I had to mute all that was going on. So, that is going to be basically the size of our magnet. So I need to stay within our lines here so that when I cut it out, it'll be on here. I had been doing a little bar for the width of our picture frame that we make to put on these. However, I realized that, you know what? I'm okay with it coming to the edge of the magnet. It just can't be over the edge of the magnet. So I'm going to do something a little different today. So, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do at all. This is just some masking tape, if I can get it to cooperate. Nothing fancy about this. Why does it keep ripping like that? Am I just being that incompetent today? I mean, that is entirely possible. So I'm gonna take my tape up to my pen line. This also isn't like the best of the best masking tape brands, and I don't know how old it is. Plus, it is baller cold. We had like a wind chill of -3 this morning. Oh, it's just being ridiculous here. No matter what I do. Okay. So I want to stay within the pen. Sometimes this helps. Sometimes it doesn't. It kind of depends on the felt that I'm using. I've found that the premium craft felt that's a little bit more. I think it's like 39 or 69 cents a sheet compared to like the 25-cent a sheet. Craft felt tends to not get stretched as much. Because the last one got a little stretched out. I mean, it's gonna happen to a small degree. I do prefer that premium felt, but I also... Maybe it's just the way I'm tearing it. If I can get one straight edge, that would be helpful. Alright. So, I mean, obviously it's not super perfect here. But, you know, we made an effort. And I've done the tape on the 8x10. Sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't. The one where I thought it helped might have just been the fact that it was a thicker felt. So this felt that I'm using today was like from a multi-pack of felt where the size wasn't quite right for the 8x10 project. So I didn't want to just get rid of it, and I could have donated it, but I was like, I think I can still use this. So we're gonna attempt it. I'm gonna try to cut down this extra fabric here. That I'm not really gonna need. Like, it'll just be flopping around and kind of in the way. So like I said, I'm doing it a little different this time, right? Just an experiment to see how it goes. I've not tried the tape on this set of felt before. Like, I had gotten a pack of just multicolored sheets of felt from Amazon. This felt is thinner a little bit. and but I really liked and preferred that that thicker premium craft felt. But what can you do? We don't have that right now, so I'd only bought one sheet of that as an experiment. I could go get some more, but at the same time, I kind of want to use my stuff that I've got stashed. So I'm just taking a razor and giving our mat a quick once over. It's not going to get all of it off of here, but it's going to get some of the looser excess fluff. Keep it from building up a little too much. And this mat's from Wool Buddy, and this was on their Amazon store on this mat for how to clean it, or one of the methods you could use to try to clean the excess fluff off. But this is one of those things that you're gonna have to replace these every so often. The last Wool Buddy mat, I think I went about a year before I needed to replace it, but we also definitely put it through its paces, stabbing into it for hours. So, and we were doing paintings, not just your average little critters, so you know. I am so cold. That's crazy. Like, I stepped outside and I was cold, but I had my winter coat on. And I was moving around, so it was cold, but it wasn't like terrible. We're up to 16 degrees. It feels like it's about, I don't know, 60 in our bedroom. Oh my god, I'm freezing. I honestly don't know what the temperature is in here. I don't have a thermostat for our room. I probably should get one out of curiosity, but okay. So we've got our square prepped. Let's get our needle ready here. So my kit came with a wooden handle that allows you to store the needle in it when you're not using it. So my toolkit. I use acrylic yarn instead of roving. The acrylic yarn is more cost friendly, more budget friendly for me than the roving. Though I do still have a bunch of little tiny bags of roving. I could use that on one of these, but for right now, I'm going to be using the acrylic yarn, so that way I don't have to worry about anybody that could potentially have a wool allergy, because these are probably going to end up in my farmer's market giveaway. Or on eBay. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Now, I peeked at what it looks like at the end, but I didn't do any reference sketches ahead of time for these. So we're just winging it. Let me see if I can get this adjusted here on the screen. There we go. And do we need to zoom in a little bit more? Maybe we should. These guys are tiny. How about we go 250? That's pretty good. I'm gonna hit autofocus real quick here. I had done this before, but I don't want autofocus to keep getting blurry while I'm doing it. So I'm gonna hit autofocus and let it figure it the fuck out. And well, there goes that algorithm. Great. Oh, me and my mouth getting me into trouble all the time. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit play. I do have the tutorial muted. Our captions are on, but they're probably so tiny you won't be able to see them. So that's why I've got the link to the video posted in the chat and pinned for anybody that wants to go back and watch the tutorial in full. Again, this should be episode 3, which is going to be Winding Stream. You put liquid black on the bottom and liquid white on the top. Interesting. I mean, we won't be doing that here, but... Alright, so he's gonna grab phthalo blue. So that's a bright blue sky. Like a bright, bright blue. What do we want to do for our sky? We'll probably take a cornflower blue for the sky today. Alright, let's see. Okay, so he's kind of giving the impression of fluffy clouds. What are you doing, Bob? Are you trying to make the blue be the cloud? Or are you trying to... So I think this was their new blender brush. Yeah. Interesting. So ours is going to look a little different. What are you doing? Okay. So ours won't look exactly like Bob's. This is so strange. He usually does the cloud second and more of a white shape, but it looks like he's almost making the clouds blue, which is interesting. Alright, so he takes that color kind of down below, and obviously there's a stream in here. So I'm just trying to see how far down he brings this. He's spending a lot of time on this sky, more than he usually does. Can I get like a pull out of this? Oh, really? He brought that down really far for him. Like really far. Now, we don't necessarily have to bring it down that far. What's he gonna do next? Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. I want to see. Oh. Bob. Seriously? I don't know. What color would that even be? It's kind of like a purple. Kinda. Oh, brother. So... I don't know if it's gonna matter. I'm trying to see what he's doing for the very background. Okay, so he's doing some stuff to that. Because he's got sort of like a ridge line, like right in here. And I don't know if I need that yet. So we might. Alright. Bob, I need to see. Because if you're just gonna cover it up. There's no point. Sorry, YouTube ads. If I can click the right window here. Okay. So, oh, I think we're gonna need to keep that, like, misty area back there. What color would that even be? Like, I don't even know. It's kind of like a gray. You know, I was looking at this, I was like, oh, we got this, no problem. And now that I'm looking, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Because, like, if he's going to cover the entire background with tree, then it doesn't really matter. But it looks like we do need that bit of a ridge line for the distance. Okay. So let's... We're going to have to do it a little bit differently. Alright, I think I've got a color that we can make work there. Again, our proportions are going to be a little bit different because, excuse me, it's cold in here, my nose is running. Because of the size we're working on. This is 3" by 3". Let me get our sky color here. Oof. Alright, so I got a sky color. We're gonna use some kind of like cloud color here. So let me grab that. Try to figure that out. Ah, no, everything's falling. Okay. Lack of storage. Just you need to behave. Alright, so sky color. Color for that ridge in the background. The clouds almost have like a grayness to them, but not really. I think we'll kind of try something here. All of these are an experiment, so whew, so cold. Okay. So this is Cornflower Blue. Now this is from Joann's house label, Big Twist, and it's their value line. In case anybody wants to know, but you know, whatever yarn, it's just an acrylic yarn. If you want to use roving, go ahead. Again, I'm just, oh, I didn't get my water. I am just using the acrylic yarn because it fits my budget a bit better. It's a little bit easier for me to get acrylic yarn, let alone on sale. So, alright, I get a little drop of water here. You don't have to do the water. It's not vital. But I like to do little fiber snakes. Um, I like that a little bit better to shape these guys with. So, oh, goodness. All right. So it's about halfway. I'm gonna come a little short of halfway. Right? Because we don't have as much room to work with as box. We kind of have to tailor accordingly. I am going to turn this so I can see it a little bit better on this side. So this is sideways at the moment, but it's going to work out a little bit easier for me if I can actually see what the heck we're doing. Funny that. So, and I don't have the other two magnets on hand. They're in the other room. It's gonna get to the point where I can't have all of them out here because work surface. But maybe I will get the photos of them and we can start a little slideshow in like the upper corner or something of the ones we've done already. That sounds like fun. Okay, I'm using a small needle. That's the best I can tell you for the needle size I'm using. My kit did not come with numbers on the needles for the sizes. It just said small. There was an S on the tube. In fact, I think I have the tube. Yes. This is how the needles came in the kit, so I don't know what to tell you. As I drop them. Like that's all I can tell you. I found a toolkit on Amazon. Had a bunch of other size. It had a medium and a large needle tube, had the handle. It had these guys. It had a multi-needle handle that can hold up to 8. That thing's heavy. You wouldn't think it would be that heavy because one needle, like this is like nothing. But when you get that many needles and the weight of the handle, that thing's pretty heavy. Like way heavier than I expected. Now I'm not really pushing down, I just have my finger resting on it. Like normal finger resting weight. Because if I don't, I've found that when I'm working with a large chunk, my needle likes to grab all of it and just go to town. And if you don't care, then whatever. But I just didn't want to grab more yarn than I necessarily needed. Too soon, you know? That's going to come down to personal preference. And I don't know if that's really an issue when you're using the roving. Now I am using a camel colored base felt here as our quote unquote canvas. So I do want to make sure that I take the time to completely cover that, because I don't want any of it showing through. That's just my preference. You handle it how you want to handle it. If that doesn't bother you, then whatever. Use whatever color felt you want. I have used like orange before on a Bob's black canvas one. That was probably not the wisest decision, but I had been using just like gray tones for a while, but I figured, you know what, let me use up this awkward sized felt for this. That would be great. So that is what we're gonna do. And I definitely recommend, if you're using like one of these kinds of mats, that you pull up your project every little bit of an attachment so that you don't become unremovably attached, where you might damage your mat with the amount of force that you need to remove. So, gonna gently try to peel that up. I also don't want to distort our felt square too much either. Alright, so I'm going to fill this half with our blue. And again, you don't have to do the fiber snakes. You could just like lace them down and attach it this way if you really wanted to. It might take a few more passes doing it this way. To get the desired coverage that you're looking for, potentially. Well, I just liked doing the fluffy snake pieces, but you know, this is also an option, so we'll show it. Why not? All right. So we'll get this worked into here. And again, you know, whatever color you think is gonna work for you. I might have been a little generous with how far I brought the sky down so far, because we still have to put that little ridge in. I might like shorten the length of that ridge. So I usually tend to sketch everything out so I can get a feel for how scrunched I have to kind of put everything in there. I'm not the best at scaling this stuff on the fly. You'd think I would be by now, but It was hard enough scaling it down to an 8x10 size. But trying to scale this down to 3x3 is kind of a whole different animal here. Yeah, I think I much greatly prefer making my little fluffy bits here. Although you probably have like less weird overlapping, but okay. So you don't have to do the tape on here. I'm just experimenting with the tape this time. Just kind of seeing how it's going to work with this particular felt. Just to try to help keep our lines a little bit straighter, if possible. If it's not possible, well then, you know, we tried. And maybe the secret really is the thicker felt. But I don't think the thicker felt would work here. And that's just based off of the width of my sticks that I'm using for my frame. It you could probably do a thicker felt as your base, but you're gonna need, I don't know if you would need double this width for that to like build up the side enough to make the shadow box. Now, if you're not worried about making a frame around it, then whatever. But I'm trying to make a frame to put on ours so they look like little tiny paintings. I mean, you could maybe go 4 inches and maybe use a popsicle stick width, but that might involve a little more cutting down of said popsicle stick or craft stick, whatever they're calling them now. I'm using some drink stirrers because I found a decent price on them for $150. I think it was under $10, and I was like, or maybe it was just around $10. I'm like, I could make that work. I think I can make that work. Let's try to make that work. And I think my wooden squares, I think those were under $10 too for a pack of 100. Okay. Yeah, it might have gone over the... No, I think I'm right on the pen line there. That's fine. Like, the very edge can be a little meh, because, it's gonna get covered by the shadow box. I'm just trying to fill my square as best as we can. Hope everybody's doing okay today. As we are just working on getting our little magnet started here. Can't tell if... I think I'm a little off on the line there. Just slightly. Sometimes it's easier to tell once you pull up. Yeah, just a little. That's alright. So also, every so often, kind of want to change where you're stabbing into so your mat doesn't get too worn in one area too quickly. Okay, so I do the little drop of water because it helps the fibers kind of come together a little bit better. And everybody gets along a little bit easier that way. So if I don't have my finger there, it just starts grabbing everything and everything goes a little willy-nilly there. So, and then chaos starts to take over. So, like I said, my finger is just resting on it. Just normal hand weight resting. I am going to come back and fill in that corner in just a minute. Just the piece I had didn't quite feel like it was going to be the right fit for that space. Okay. So what's everybody up to today? Staying warm, working on a project, just straight up working. Saw that Louisiana was getting snow this morning. That's crazy. I wonder how often they get snow. Like I saw a report, don't know how true it was, but I saw a report where road crews from, I don't know if it was our state or another state, that were heading down to help Louisiana with their roads because I guess they didn't have any like snow equipment, maybe, or not enough of it. Wild. Absolutely wild. I am freezing. I don't know how much snow they were supposed to get, but hopefully they enjoy it. Although I'm sure for a lot of people that are trying to get to work and all that, this is not an enjoyable experience. I don't even know if they know how to drive in snow. Like the locals. Probably not, right? Unless they've transplanted from other states that have snow. Like, driving in snow is no joke. You can't just treat it like any other day. Okay. I was gonna try to get some bear and breakfast recorded this morning, but my headphones didn't have enough of a charge on them. I don't know what happened last night. I thought they were plugged in. That was the only thing that was charging in that outlet. So I don't know what happened there. Because I don't have any extra bear and breakfast to put up on the YouTube channel. I think I've got one more video going up tonight that I had recorded a little bit ago. Like it's been a few minutes. I don't remember what I left off doing, to be perfectly honest. Life's crazy around here, so it's like as soon as I exit the game, it's like, what was I doing? What did I just do? I don't know. I know I'm in Pinefall. I think I just finished trying to put in a kitchen on the second floor, or a dining room on the second floor. And I'm starting to regret doing that, and I'm like, man, it probably should have been on the first floor. But at the same time, I don't want to waste all the money and rip everything out because I've got guests staying there now. So I think I'm just gonna go with it. Like, whatever. This is what it is now. Because, like, the rooms have food scores on them, and the guests are looking for that. And excuse me. So it's either I fix it. Actually, I don't think I can fix it right now because the guests are staying there. I'd have to wait until those guests check out before I redo everything. And I'm not sure if I want to bother with that. I have to see where I left off. I also have to save up some money so that we can put a museum in there. I don't know where the hell I'm gonna put the museum. I don't know. Like, it feels like it's starting to get a little out of control on me already, and I'm like, oh jeez. Okay. So let's get a little bit more fluff and stuff here. My hands. I was trying to twist tissue paper last night. I could not get enough traction with my one hand to do it one-handed. Because I've been trying to multitask and try to twist tissue paper one-handedly for the tissue paper project that I'm working on while I'm video editing Speedfelds, so that I still owe you guys two more. The one I just finished is going to go up on the 26th, not the 25th. I misspoke yesterday. I couldn't remember the date that I had scheduled it for. That's going up on the 26th. Mostly because I didn't have any bear breakfast backlog to to stretch out the posting over there. And it kind of keeps me from getting too distracted and going, oh, let me go look that up. So it's giving me two tasks to do at once. When I can get enough of a grip on my fingers to do it one-handedly. Still not certain I've got enough of the blue color twisted to finish up with that color. My plan is to finish that color this week on that canvas, and then I need to finish a little bit on the top. I need to finish the other side, and then I can finish the front, and I can record finishing the front with that color. We're no way, shape, or form anywhere near done finishing the project on the whole. Now the last one, I had so much fluff buildup into it. My frame almost didn't fit. Like, the fluff was so thick, and that was with me cutting the back down. I probably could have cut the back down a little bit more, but I didn't want to go too crazy, because I wasn't sure how far I could get away with cutting down the back. And have it still stick, essentially. So I was trying to be a little bit cautious with that, but I probably could have gone a little bit further, because everything got laid in a sea of tacky glue anyhow to help hold everybody together. So, like, all this fluff on the back got trimmed down. Alright, so I've still got a little bit of thin section in here. So we're gonna fill that in. Okay. So try to get that worked into there. And, like, the edges don't have to be perfect, because these guys are gonna come in and, in the theory, like, cover a little bit of it, but we're gonna do what we can, right? Okay. So we're gonna cover up that spot. Whoop. Now I could have gone with, like, a light blue. I'm sure I have a light blue. I have, like, a whole stack of this felt, like, just sitting there. I only used a couple pieces of it before I switched to the felt sheets that were a little bit bigger from the craft store. so I could get them sized appropriately. So I'm trying to make sure I've got this pretty well covered, right? Because I'm gonna do some clouds on here. Probably different clouds than what he's got going on. He kind of did sky first. Like, it started out where he looked like he was doing blue sky. And then he made these, like, blue clouds. And I'm like, eh. But he always says it's our world and we can do what we want. So I'm going to do what I want. And I'm going to executive decision the clouds. And I'm going to do some like grayish white clouds. We'll see how it goes. And I missed. Really? I missed? Seriously? Did I really miss? It could have been covered a little bit better. Like right here still looks a little bit thin. Like I feel like I'm still seeing some of that brown kind of filtering up through there. Now I could try to take care of it with the cloud. No guarantee that cloud is going to work that kind of magic though. Alright, give me 1 second, I gotta blow my nose. Alright, sorry about that. Sinuses are not happy today. When are they happy? Seems like the only time my sinuses are happy when we're not here. Okay. Like not here as in this location. They're just as pissy off stream. Just not quite satisfied with that spot coverage yet. And some days are like that. And of course, when I've got the tape on, you can see how bad my aim is from where I've been stabbing the tape accidentally. I mean, it's not gonna harm nothing. It's not like I'm felting through the tape, but I'm just accidentally stabbing into it. Alright, that's probably pretty good in there. Alright. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. What was that? Okay. There's something on the edge of my mat. And I didn't know what it was. Okay. Got fuzz stuck everywhere. Alright. Get our next bit of glue here. And we'll start to get that worked into here. As we try to catch up to where Bob is. We'll see. We should be able to at least catch up to that today. But we'll see. Every day is different. Every chunk of felt seems to behave differently with what I'm trying to use up from my stash of stuff here. That one actually peeled up pretty gently. That one did pretty well. Gonna need some more fluff. Hell yeah. You know what I need? I need a lap blanket. I had one, and then it ended up in the dog bed. And now I don't have one anymore. Like, I don't need it very long, because then it's gonna get caught in my chair wheels, which I don't want. Alright. Sorry, my brain just went to, you know, you have that pillowcase that you're not using. Maybe you could make something out of that if you cut the seam open on it. And I probably could. I probably could. Sorry, my needle decided to wander in that direction. And I didn't feel like fighting the needle wanting to wander, so... Just working on getting our sky color attached to our liking on into here. Now, sometimes these go quicker than others. They definitely go quicker, the magnets on a whole, go quicker than the 8x10 landscape paintings, essentially, that we were doing. Because they are smaller. So technically, they go faster than those. But I'm never really sure if it's going to take 2 sessions or 3 sessions on these guys. Kind of depends on how I feel the fluff is laying down. And how distracted I happen to be in, you know, the whole 9 yards. Let's see, if I don't snake this, what kind of coverage am I gonna get here? We'll see. So, what's the weather like for everybody today? Are you getting snow when you don't normally see snow? Are you excited about it? Are you mad about it? The heck are y'all up to? Hi, I'm trying to figure out dinner. I think we're doing French toast tonight. And bacon. I don't believe we have any more potatoes left. It's probably just the French toast and the bacon. I was torn between that and spaghetti. I was so cold. I was like, oh, spaghetti. Like, it's been so cold. I just want all of the carbs. Like, that's all I want. Last night, I made sloppy joe. Because I realized when I was trying to figure out what on earth I was going to do for dinner, we hadn't had that in a while. Like, I don't mind eating the same couple of things in rotation, but my mom gets annoyed. And I know that I've been having one thing too much when she's like, well, can I have this instead? I mean, I would make pizza like 3 nights a week. But, if we had the cheese to do it, but like once a week is more than her fill of pizza. And she's not a huge fan of spaghetti. But I like pizza because it's filling. Everybody can get their fill. When I make pizza, let me put it that way. I didn't mind Domino's, and then they kept messing up our order, so we stopped ordering from there. Plus, it's, money. And, so we had kind of stopped ordering from there for a while, and then husband's like, I really want Domino's. And I was like, alright. And they changed the sauce back to the more robust formula, where it's a little bit, it's not necessarily like hot spicy, but something in there was a bit spicier than I remembered it being. Like, it reminded me of like Domino's when I was growing up spicy sauce. And recently it hadn't been that spicy when we had ordered it in the past couple of years. And then the most recent time we ordered from there, I'm like, oh no. No thanks. And I tried their chicken Alfredo and I didn't like it. And the one time I got a salad from there, it was all brown. And I'm like, y'all thought this was okay to sell? Like, it looked slimy and brown. I'm like, no. So I don't really like getting from Domino's anymore. Like, I'll get breadsticks, but that's not dinner. Most of the time, it's not enough. But I'm just picky, and sometimes Pizza Hut's kind of greasy for me. And the closest Pizza Hut to us is like 25 minutes from here. Like, they won't deliver, we're so far out. We have to go and get it. And by the time we get it home, it's almost cold, so it's like, meh. Not worth the hassle. The pizza from Casey's isn't terrible, but it's inconsistent from our Casey's. That one section just wants to be fussy. I've had a couple sections like that on this one, right in here. Just keep missing the mark with that one, I guess. Or it's my color choice, but that's a large enough gap there. Or I don't think that's really color choice. We'll probably be on a different color felt on the next one. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this piece will fill in this thin spot, and then I'll just have like maybe that and that. And then I can figure out this ridge here. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with this ridge. Like, quite honestly, part of me just wants to, you know, pretend we didn't see it, but it's like there in the background, so kind of don't really have a choice. I mean, we always have a choice in that, right? But I feel like it's going to be missing a key focal point if I don't. So we'll attempt it. I can't promise what it's going to look like, but we'll attempt it. Let's gently pull that guy up. And I just like to brush down the fiber on the back a little bit. It's just a me thing. But now I've got like a line here in the middle. I might let that go. Alright. Might not be all that much of an issue once we get sorted here. In fact, I don't think you really see it all that much on camera. Okay, I tried to keep that as straight as I could. I don't know how straight it actually is, but I tried. Okay. So we've got that worked into there. Alright. So we're not doing too bad. I'm gonna put this little piece of glue back in the bag for right now. I don't think I'm quite done with that blue yet, because I'm gonna try to, holy crap, I'm cold. I'm gonna try to do something with it here in just a second. Okay. So what is this? This is the Big Twist value line in the taupe color. So it's kind of like a smoky, woody, brownish gray. Right? And I'm saying what brand these colors are from, because different brands can have the same color yarn that look completely different. Again, you know, use whatever you want to. Roving. Hang on, I've got to get a blanket. All right. Sorry. It was becoming, like, unbelievably distracting how cold I was. I have been freezing for days. Okay. Back to work. So this little like I don't want it too I have no idea if that is straight or not. I really have no idea. I mean, I guess I can still kind of fix it. Oh, you know what? That's kind of big. That is kind of big. All right. I'm gonna get a little bit of water on my finger. And I am going to actually, let's go this way with it. All right. So all right. So we have to still get our rest of our painting in here. So if we kind of take this across, like that's not completely straight, but that is pretty straight for me. Okay. So we'll kind of, oh no, that is not straight. Like it didn't look straight at all. Alright, we'll see how that treats us. But no, even still. That, like, in this direction, that doesn't look anywhere near on this end. Alright. Let's see how we do with this. Okay. Not completely perfect, but that's what we're gonna roll with, so we'll see how this does us, right? It's really about all we can do. Okay. So this is gonna kind of just sit on the edge here. And we'll get this guy worked into here. I did overlap that a little bit over the blue. Not very much. Just a teeny tiny bit. Just so I didn't have like a weird seam show up in between the two. Okay. So I'm gonna come back over onto this end now. And we'll work on giving this end some attention. Because we had a little bit of a gap there because we were paying attention to the other side for a minute. And that's all well and good, but do need to give this side a little bit of a check-in here, see how we're doing. All right. So I've got a little bit of a thin spot right there. So I'm going to work on filling that in after I get this attached. Okay. Now, I did end up deactivating my Twitter, so if anybody is looking for me, I am on Blue Sky. I had made the post that I was switching over, but I still kept posting when I was going live over on Twitter, but I am fully deactivated over there now. It's just going to be better for my brain. So I currently still have Instagram. Haven't decided if I am going to keep posting over there or not yet. I mean, I don't post that much there. Anyhow, I'm not like posting something every hour. That's just not possible for me. Guess I didn't get that as overlapped as I thought I did. I actually thought I was a little bit more over that line. Apparently not. Do, 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 do. I'm not too worried about keeping that section straight on the top edge, because it kind of feels like you're looking down into a mist-colored valley on his. This might be a little generous in how much space I am giving this. Because I've still got to get that little mountain guy in there. Alright, I will look at the mountain guy's placement after I get this sorted. Like, I looked at it briefly there a minute ago, but we will take another peek because it's been a couple of minutes, right? So Yeah, sometimes at this time of year, I just don't have enough friction on my hands to try to shape this stuff. That's where the water kind of helps. Water didn't help with the tissue paper, though. It just made the tissue paper soggy, even though it was like a drop on my finger. I'm like, right. I had a feeling that was going to be the case. And it definitely was. So that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. And then I was like trying to rub my fingers on a tea light to try to get some like waxiness going on my finger so that I could try to get some friction that way. It helped a tiny bit, but not enough. So then I gave up and I was just using both hands instead of trying to do it one-handed. So I didn't get too much editing done last night. Now the husband had episode 10 almost done, but I don't know what happened to what he had done on it. So I'm just restarting the editing on that from scratch. That's why 10 wasn't done in order, because he had been working on that. And then he lost his will to do it, and I'm like, ugh, can you at least just finish this one? And he was trying to finish it, but it was taking him forever to finish it. And then he just stopped working on it when he swapped computers. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
I strongly suggest you save whatever you have on that screen because the cat will stand on it.
He can't really do anything to it, I don't think, but I'll save it again.
Okay. I would not put it past him to stand on it and mess something up. Okay. Just gently peel that up. Okay, I think that's just a mark there. Yeah, it's letting me stab into it, so it's not like a hard crunchy bit in the mat that I have to worry about. Okay. What's up, buddy? What are you doing? What? Today's just a disorganized mess. I'd get the husband to take him out, but I don't know where the husband just wandered off to. I don't know if he was just wandering or what. Zuzu. I don't know if he was just wandering. Been a little stumbly today. Poor buddy. He's still a very happy doggo, though. He was starting to give us sass this morning about wanting to go to the park. I'm like, dude, no. The wind chill's below 0. It's -3. We're not We're not going outside to dick around. Like, your code is not going to do enough for you. And I'm certainly not standing there while you smell everything in this level of cold. No, not today. We'll try it tomorrow. And we'll see what the temperatures are. You okay? You okay, bud? Yeah, we'll try it tomorrow. Okay? He's still not happy. He's giving me dirty looks. Maybe try to accommodate him with how old he is and stuff, and try to make him happy. But it was just dangerous cold this morning. Like, I'm sorry, like, you're gonna have to go on your potty pad. Ain't nobody should be dicking around in below zero temperatures. I thought I was done with that section, and then a little tiny bit of our camel color caught my eye. Now I might be able to deal with it with the little bit of misting that I'm gonna try to bring into here. I still have to do the clouds. But I don't know that that's gonna work. I don't even know if I should bring this color all the way down on the bottom. Because he's kind of got this weird, like, gray thing happening here. But I don't know that I really need to bring this color all the way down. Because I do have to not necessarily be worried about it, but I do have to think about how thick I'm layering up our fluff here. Since I had that issue on the last one where it was so thick I was having trouble getting the picture frame to attach. I had not realized that was going to be that much of an issue, but I should have. I didn't really think about it. You know, Google has these things. Is it even Google? No. I guess it's Windows 11. It has this little thing about search, and it has like what today's holiday is, or what today's notable day is. And I'm looking at this thing, and I thought it was like a turkey dinner, and I'm like, doesn't quite look right. Then it kind of looked like a mushroom laying on its side. I'm like, what the hell is this a picture of? And so I finally hovered over it, and it says, search Squirrel Appreciation Day. And I'm like, that's a squirrel? It's so tiny. It's like, if you say so, it doesn't really look like a squirrel to me, but okay. Husband put his space heater on and then left the room, and I have no idea where he went. Like, where did you go? And I'm sitting here freezing. I now have a cheap, like, $3 throw blanket. A thin throw blanket, like, doubled up over my lap that we had gotten from Walmart one Christmas. We'd actually gotten them for the dog beds. I didn't know that I still had the second one lurking about because I saw the one sitting in the dog bed. And I thought we had buried the other one with Momo. I guess not. Oh, goodness me. So now we have to try to get these real IDs. We had them before, um, when I lived in New Jersey. But I had the documents to use in New Jersey to get it, but we were kind of forced to, right? Because, I mean, I had my pay stub from the casino. It was a pain in the ass, but I had everything. And now they're saying that we have to have them here. I guess all over the country now. But when we moved here, we didn't have to have them. And now I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I have enough stuff to get it. To like prove my address. And they had this like quiz that you could take to check off boxes of documents that you have, and like I'm on our joint bank statement, right? We have two different bank accounts. My name's on both of them. So I'm like, I've got that. And at the top of this segment, it says billing statements are also acceptable. But when you're looking at the list, it didn't say a credit card billing statement. It just had a utility bill. And I'm like, well, can I use my credit card statement? Because one of the credit cards is mine, only in my name. And we can print out one of those bills. That's got the right address on it, but it didn't say it. So I'm like, so is this acceptable or not? And I'm like, well, what the hell? So now I don't know what to do. And we're not 100% certain that they're going to accept the credit card statement. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like, this is so dumb. And so now we've decided we're going to call the internet company and have the bill put in my name. Like in the next couple of weeks here. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I don't make enough on here to even get a W-2. I might get $15 in 6 months. Like, so I can't even use that. And I'm like, okay. Alright. I think I'm going to leave the bottom blank for now. So, he's got this, like, it's like a mist. And I don't quite know how to do this. So, I'm going to take this misty gray color I have. I'm going to turn my map, actually. So... like, I need it to cover, but I also need it to be, like, see-through. So this is gonna be difficult to convey. I don't think it's gonna be necessarily impossible, but I do think it's probably gonna complicate things a little bit here. Like it said we could use a health insurance, and I was like, okay, well, I have that. And I was like, does my health insurance card have our address on it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you're sure? He goes, let me check. And it's like, oh, no, it doesn't. And I don't know that I still have any paperwork lying around from the last time they sent me something in the mail. So I'm like, well, shit. It's a mess. I'm not even sure if this is gonna do what I'm wanting it to do. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Right? Because these are so thin strands that they're either gonna like disappear into the background, or I'm gonna have trouble tacking them in at all, and then they're just gonna look like strands instead of like a foggy mist here. So, fuzz everywhere. Okay. So I'm scraping, surface scraping. You don't stab in and pull one direction or the other, because then you're gonna snap your needle. Do remember that. Okay. Shit. I think he got in the shower, and I have to pee. Rude. That or he's in the kitchen. Alright, so either way, I might be done with this color for now. So let me set that to the side, just so I don't accidentally dump it out everywhere. Okay, so I'm just trying to separate out these fibers so that they're not quite so piled up on each other. This might take a little bit of fussing to try to get the look that we're going for here. And we might just have to accept the fact that it's gonna be a little stringy looking. Because that's just how it's gonna be. because I don't want it to be real thick. Then it's not going to be noticeable that we put this color down under it, right? So we're just gonna kind of have to play around a little bit here. Again, I'm scraping the surface. Gently. And this very, very edge here, the very far edge, should be covered by the frame. So a lot of that like build up on the edge here will probably, not all of it be hidden, but some of it probably will. I'm gonna gently pop that up. Okay. Little extra fuzzy pieces. Alright, so I kind of want a bit more than that. So I'm gonna work in very small amounts here. This is definitely going to be an effect I want to try to build up. Especially since I'm not sure if this is really going to convey what I want it to. Like this whole project with making these magnets, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. We're winging it, right? So this whole magnet project is an experiment all on its own. We've had two come out somewhat successfully. Right? Because I don't normally needle felt quite this tiny. Right? That's a challenge in and of itself. 100%. Anybody that can needle felt super tiny, my hat's off to you. Because it's not easy. Especially when you're trying to follow a tutorial for something that is much, much larger in scale. But you know, we're doing what we can here. And we'll see how things go. Alright. So for anybody that joined us, this is just a square of ordinary craft felt from like the kids crafting section. Nothing special. That's what I had. Trying to go through my backlog of supplies. Like I saw someone say, I don't know if it was like a meme card on Facebook or something at one point, but I saw it written somewhere where someone said buying craft supplies and using craft supplies are two totally different animals. And I was like, yeah, I feel that. Like, I have the ideas for stuff, and I'm like, ooh, yes. Or I just like something, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get that. I might have a use for that later. I was really bad about that when I worked at AC Moore. Because, that 20% discount plus a sale item. That was hard to pass up. And like whenever we had the Moonlight Madness sales, like I think there was one every quarter where I think everything was 25% off between like 6 and 9 p.m. It was an extra sale that they stayed open for late on Sunday nights. And usually the 9 to 5 or yeah, the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday staff would have to come in, and anybody that they could con into staying late on Sunday that wasn't a minor um would be working it. And then we got a chance um after all of the customers were out of the store. We had like 10-15 minutes where we could um go and grab some stuff to buy, and we got the 25% off plus our 20% discount. All right, I think I'm gonna do a little bit more. Like, I'm getting there. I'm not quite there with it yet. What the hell? Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pee. I could not wait any longer. Like, it had to happen. And I also heard a bang outside, and I didn't know what it was. So I wanted to make sure that nobody like hit our mailbox or anything. It was pretty loud. But apparently it was the trash truck getting the church across the street's dumpster. And I'm kind of curious if they're still doing their daycare 2 days a week across the street.
Well, it's a little cold for kids running.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if they're still doing it because I haven't seen any kids outside. Because I think it started at like 9 or 10 in the morning. And I think it went till 2. Because you would see the kids come out for like a half hour. No, she needs to go. Bribe her if you have to.
Well, she's sitting on top of my blanket.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't want her to pee in it.
Well, here. Hang on. I'll be right back. Sorry, husband got her. She was being stubborn. Is that a thin side? Kinda, yeah. Actually. That is kind of a thin spot. Okay. I mean, it doesn't really look like we've done much of anything on that, so... But I just didn't want to put like a solid patch of gray here because it wasn't a solid patch of gray. So I feel silly. And when I first looked at this one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is straightforward, no problem. But I didn't actually look at it carefully. I just looked at the finished product real quick and I was like, oh yeah. And it's not really that complicated, per se. But trying to duplicate this one in fluff is going to be a little bit trickier. Probably. Than I necessarily anticipated. Again, that's going to be more on me than anything. Because, like, his, you can see there's something there, but it's pretty heavily frosted, shall we say. So I definitely think this is going to take a little bit of building up. Because if I just slap this shade on here, it's gonna be too thick. Right? Hang on, Zuzu. Dads will be right back, okay? He's gonna get you next. But we had to get Snuffles first, because she'll, like, try to fly out the door.
Yes.
It was so cold out earlier, I had to get the recycling out, though. I didn't take it out. Like, I took, like, 2... Like, we've got, like, 3 buckets in our kitchen that we put recycling in. We've got a large container, and then 2 smaller containers. And I had taken out 2 of the smaller containers, and then I was like, that should be enough to hold us for the weekend. Because I didn't bother putting it outside last week at the curb, because we didn't have that much. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to bother them with it. Do I have to get her?
No.
This mother-in-law's dog that we ended up with, because Zuzu didn't take to the mother-in-law's dog being gone too well. Since his brother passed. She's not the smartest critter. But we're trying like hell to teach her what we mean when we say certain things. But she's like almost too eager to please, where she like kind of panics and just starts doing a list of things in her head that she thinks is what we want, instead of stopping and actually listening to what we're telling her to do. I'm like, come, and she's like rolling over on the floor. I'm like, no. It's like, come here. And we're trying to teach her what stay means. She's got some separation anxiety issues from being passed around. I don't know what happened. She was with, I don't know if it was the original owners passed away and somebody else took the dog in, and they couldn't really take care of the dog, so then it ended up with one of Russell's aunts. But that was just temporary so that she could find somebody else for the dog to end up with, and then it ended up with the mother-in-law, and Momo wasn't a fan of her, and Momo was real nervous around her, so then both of them would constantly yip at her. The first time the mother-in-law had her here, and then Momo passed a few months later, and then now Zuzu seems to be okay about her presence, to the point that he was freaking out when she was taken to the groomers. So we now have the mother-in-law's dog, which is weird because when she's here, half the time he's not even in the same room with her. So I'm like, did we misunderstand? Were you just upset that the mother-in-law left to go run an errand? Or were you actually upset about the dog? But he seems to be coming out of his shell a bit more, and I think it did help him to a small degree. But half the time he's back in my mom's room. The fact that he was hanging out in here at all today was kind of strange. Because her room is much warmer. Like, at some point in the middle of the night, he'll come and lay with me. Once, like, Russell falls asleep, and he's like, fine, I'll go lay with Mom. I'm certainly not first choice. Momo was more my puppy than Zuzu was. I was always second choice for Zuzu. And it kind of seems like I still am. And I think that section got a little too... got a little too stringy, I think. I mean, it's bound to happen, though. It wasn't thick enough. We might finally be getting there. So, like, these guys are gonna come in. Oh, let's point that the other way. Now, I might have to do a little bit of trimming to get this to fit on the backing. Like, the tape's gonna come off, and then we're left with our square. And it might be a little bit stretched out, so I might have to trim it down a little bit to get it to fit in the square. But essentially, this will be sitting there. And then this guy will be sitting, like, here. Like, on the edge. right? So, approximately. Like when we're done, I don't know if our needle felted area will be exactly 3 by 3, but the wood backing will be 3 by 3. So that's kind of what we're using to work off of here. All right, I'm just trying to nudge this up a little bit. It kind of looked like I had some light spots showing, and I'm still not sure I'm gonna cover that whole bottom section in this color. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. So, all right. I don't know what to do with these clouds, because Bob kind of did a different cloud here. So if I kind of try to anchor that around in there. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit thicker. I think maybe on our horizon line. I don't know if that's really gonna help our cause. We can definitely try. Alright. And then I think I might just do some regular old clouds in there. Alright. Now part of me feels like this just isn't misty enough yet. Like, I want it to be misty enough. Is it just not cooperating with me, or it's a tricky effect to pull off here. For me, at least. Really kind of has to be fussed into place here. Okay, so this guy. So we might be finally starting to build this up enough here. Thinking maybe just a little bit more. This isn't quite as simple as, you know, just popping in some fuzz and just calling it a day. So this one might take us 3 sessions. Just because of how fussy I'm having to be to get this section worked into here. So I'm just running my finger over it to see if I had any sections there that were still loose. Now, he had a little bit of that blue that he seemed to bring in to this section. Oh. Been having a grand old time stabbing through the tape in here and in here. Starting to look like a woodpecker's been in there. So, since these fibers that I've been putting in here are so thin, I'm just trying to spend a little extra time working through this section just to try to make sure that I've got everybody attached to my satisfaction, right? Because these are, if they're going to be magnets, you know, you have to take into account that they're probably going to be handled. And I don't want to seal the front of them because I think it's going to change the color of some of the yarn. Like when yarn gets wet, like it looks darker and then crunchier, and I don't want to do that. So I want it to kind of maintain its soft fuzzy texture, so I kind of have to make sure that this can handle getting touched a little bit. You know, it's a magnet, it's gonna be pulled off the fridge, put on the fridge. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we're pretty much in the size range. I just have a little edge here and a little edge there I'm gonna have to clean up when we go to put it on the wood, but that's fine. Right, like that's to be expected, really. Oh, right, the blue. Hang on. Let me grab the blue first. Alright. So, I don't even know if it's gonna be worth doing this. But, so this is our same blue color that's in the sky. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. Or I'm gonna try not to go too crazy with it. Alright, so we're just gonna work in a little bit of that on top of like our misty kind of section here. You okay?
Uh-huh.
I think around in there is where that like mountain thing is gonna sit. So I have a slight thinner section kind of trying to be a problem there. It's starting to drive me batty. To the point that I'm like trying to cover it the best I can. If I hadn't gotten so many layers of this on there, at this point I'd be like, it's fine. I'll just stick another bit of the brown on there. But at this point, that's not really gonna work. Alright, so we need to make some clouds. And we need to figure out what kind of clouds we're gonna do here. Because they're not gonna be the same as Bob's. Because I don't know what Bob was doing with these clouds. And nothing against Bob, but I think he was trying to do, I don't know, almost like the way the light was hitting it, so the clouds looked blue. Maybe that's what it looked like in the reference image that he was using, because we never see the reference images. He always talks about, he'll go out and take a photograph, or, there's all kinds of books in the library you could look through. You could kind of make up your own little picture in your head and all that, and I don't really think you can technically get away with pictures from books as a reference image nowadays. I mean, if you severely change it, maybe. But, we have things like, what is it, Pixabay and Unsplash and all that stuff that we can try to use for royalty-free reference images. But I don't want my clouds to look quite like Bob's, and that was going to be hard for me to pull off with this anyhow, with the fluff and stuff here. And as Bob says, it's our world. If we don't like something, change it. If we don't want X thing in our picture, modify it, make it different, change the color. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make some minor changes here. Like, I think I'm confident enough to go ahead and do that. Like I said, ours won't be identical to Mr. Bob's here. And that's okay. Doesn't need to be identical to Mr. Bob. Like, that is fine. Kind of using Bob's tutorial as a reference here of our own, and he's kind of showing us how he got these things to happen, which is cool and helpful. Sometimes if you come in at an angle on these, you can kind of change where the stuff is positioned. That's just what I was doing there. Just wanted to change that cloud just a little bit. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of floof. And gonna come up here to my upper corner. And just kind of work this guy in. Now I have to remember to come a little bit further down into the painting here, because of our frame that we're gonna slap on this guy. So like with the frame, the cloud vanished. This side we can still see the guy, so we're good there. Okay, so I'm just kind of trying to make like a round bit of fluff here. And I'm not using white for my cloud. I am using this like misty gray color. Same color that we used to kind of try to put our fog bank in there. Now our frame's going to end up getting painted brown. So it won't be that like stark like natural wood color, I guess we'll call it. We are going to give it a brown picture frame kind of color here. Okay. Does feel like it's kind of twisting to this side. That's alright. We'll scissor adjustments in where we need to. If we need to. It might just be the way the tape is on there. Kind of distorting it a bit. That's possible. Alright. Just gonna kind of connect these two guys here. Little guy having a little bit of a tail coming down from up here. So they're not quite like stark fluffy white. Figured we'd at least try to keep with our like foggy color here. And I think I want to extend that up that way just a little. Like the other guys, we didn't really have any clouds going in. Not really. This guy, I kind of want to take some time, add some cloud guys in here. Because we can. Now, I did take a minute earlier today, this morning, while I was getting everything set up here. And I took a look at some of the upcoming ones. I think there's one or two in this one that might be a little tricky. Like, trickier than this one. So, we might have to slightly adjust Bob's piece to fit what we're doing a little bit better. Because he started to really get into using his contact paper in a in this season, excuse me. Because there's an oval contact, there's one that's, bless you, bless you, bless you. There's a like a clamshell cutout that he does, or like a scallop shell or something. There might have been a second oval as well. There was at least one. I was like, oh, we're getting all up in there. And then he had one where he had some like black acrylic paint down, making the shadows. I'm like, well, obviously, not gonna do that. That's not really gonna work for us with what we're doing here. But we'll just have to work around that as much as we can there.
Could you mute for a second?
Yeah. Alright. Sorry, husband needed to blow his nose, and I know that skeeves a lot of people, so I'm trying to mute when possible. Alright. Definitely want a few more there. Like, this feels more like snow-covered ground than like a distant, like, canyon or valley or something. I don't know. We'll see. I wasn't really sold on the last one until I got it in the frame, and I was like, you know what, that doesn't look so bad. Like, once I got the frame around it, then I was feeling it a bit more. I was like, you know what, that didn't come out half bad. We actually managed to get a tiny little cabin popped into there. And there's at least one more building in store for us this season, if not a couple. And it did look like he had Steve guest painting later this season. A rare Steve up here. I don't remember what episode it was, though. Alright. So, this cloudy guy popped in. I'm kind of like slowly working on him. Just kind of slow building his shape here. Bits and pieces. I think that's working out a little bit better than just trying to jump in with both feet first here. Definitely recommend getting the finger protectors. I think even though I have stabbed myself through them, it's been like a pinprick, like if I had been sewing with a needle kind of damage, and nothing too severe. So, I still think, even though I've had that happen, they're still definitely worth getting and using. Especially if you're doing critters, where your fingers are definitely in the hot zone, right? Like, definitely on the front lines there, holding the creature, you know. First time for everything. It's just better to have them on. Because these things, you can't just pop it through your finger. There's little barbs on here. And there's an there's like an L bend, and this gets a lot thicker at the base of it. So don't be all macho and be like, I don't need that. No, get them. Just use them. Because there's a first time for everything, and you really don't want to be at urgent care explaining why they have to try to remove a needle from your finger, right? And then any fiber that might have gotten stuck in your finger with it. I could just see that being all kinds of problematic. Just wear the doodles. They might make your fingers a little sweaty and a little wrinkly. But you know what? Your finger goes back to normal. Like if you were in the bathtub too long or whatever. Goes back to normal in a little bit. Just get the safety stuff. Alright, I think that's all the cloud I'm gonna add to that. Oh, hey, that's a piece of our frame from last time. Okay. So, now, let's go ahead and see. Okay, he was still fussing with the clouds. Like, they almost look like thunderheads, the way he's got them going there. That's okay. I'm content with our cloudage that we've got going here. So he added a little bit of blue. Wash the brush. He's washing all the brushes. Alright, so made like a light blue, and then he added crimson to it, so it's kind of like a lilac, but like a blue lilac. Kinda. I don't really have a blue lilac. Okay, so it's kind of at the... Okay, yeah, we can cover that. I gotta figure out what color we're gonna use for this. Alright, how far over does this come, Bob? So we got some white. And he does add, even though these are distant, he is adding a little bit of highlighted snow or something to it. He's just trying to give, like, the edge a bit of a pop and a bit of a glow. Hi, cat. You're not supposed to be up here. Yes, I have a blanket in my lap. You're still not supposed to be up here. So he's kind of using that to kind of make some peaks here. And kind of add some direction to it. Hi, you're still not supposed to be up here. Oh, you're in my lap now. Okay. Okay. I have a cat in my lap and I need to get up to get yarn. Buddy. You're not... Really, Bob? So then you add a little bit of grassy stuff to this. Kind of. And then you kind of bring it forward, and now we're going to have a YouTube ad. It seems like. Maybe not. Okay. Alright, well, we need to figure out what color we're going to grab for this. Alright. Still getting the green. Okay. So, can I, like... Alright, so we're gonna kind of go with that. Hi! I have a cat in my lap. You can't see him. I don't know if the microphone will even pick up his purring. Kind of. Buddy, I need to stand up. Hi. I didn't invite you up here. You have to get down now. Because Daddy can't even grab the color for me. Because there's not enough room back here. Look, you got eye crunchies. Oh my goodness, look at you. You're a mess. So Cal's decided to sit in my lap now. Yes, you have. But you need to move. Husband, would you like to come collect the cat?
Cow. Come on, buddy. Meow.
Oh,
Come
you're
on,
in
cow,
my
cow.
sweater. Thank you.
Come here, buddy.
He saw I had a blanket in my lap.
I know.
Alright, so he kind of went with like a dark. See, he mixed this color. And it's kind of blue, but kind of gray, but kind of red. It's kind of purple, but not. I don't know what color to make this. This shade of purple. Kind of feels on the same wavelength as our taupe. So, have you noticed they haven't been on the back of your chair as much since you switched chairs?
Oh yeah, they don't have a big easy
Yeah.
flat surface to sit on.
So, one plus to the new chair that the husband got. He got the same chair as I did. So the back of it, the top edge of the back of it, is not as wide, and it's not as long. So it's not really cat hanging out on there approved, apparently. So it's been one bonus that they haven't been clawing him to climb up his chair. Okay. So, sorry, it's just resetting here for a second. According to Windows 11, it's up to 20 whole degrees out there. Oh my goodness. Alright. I don't even know how I'm gonna do this. Alright, it's gonna be so tiny. So tiny. Okay. Like, he added alizarin crimson to it, but it still very much seems like more of a gray blue. And I'm like second guessing doing this as purple. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do it in purple. Right? I have to be brave. I have to be brave. Technically it's 21 out, but it feels like a 14. Please tell me it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. It's supposed to go down to 14 degrees tonight. And tomorrow we have a high of 40 with a low of 22. That's actually exciting. Okay. So I need a line of this, right? Just a drop of water. And I need to kind of work it to a thinner line that I can kind of draw with, right? Kind of outline what we're trying to do. So he's got like three peeky poos in there, but the one was kind of one peak that he kind of split into two. It was a little bit longer. like, I was trying to figure out how far over this thing came. So I might have to, like, jump way ahead. Wait, what? Did he do more of them? Hold on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I need... I need to see this. Okay, no, he brought them over that far. Okay. So, he kinda, like, brings them over to, like, here. Kind of. It might have even been a little further than that, but that is where we're gonna... Oh, that's too... I got a little carried away. In my height there. I guess it would have been fine. Like, it might have been okay. Then we kind of lose that distance back there. I might just end up bringing that brown color all the way down, just to make life a little bit easier. Okay. So there's one in there. You can't really see it, but there's one. This one's gonna kind of sit in there. And then that guy is gonna kind of like go off to the edge here. Okay, just to make life a little bit simpler, I'm just going to snip that, and now see about trying to fill this in. As best as we can. Right, because it's pretty tiny in there. It's probably about time to change where we're stabbing on the mat. Change, excuse me, places. Alright. gonna start to work this guy into here, and if I need to trim any of it, we'll trim it, although I don't think I'm really going to need to. As long as it doesn't get too raised up, we should be okay. And if it feels a little too raised, we'll try to trim the back down there as best as we can. So we kind of have the one in there. Little tricky to see. Like, you can kind of see something. Alright, so work on getting guy number 2 popped into here. So I originally wasn't going to add that taupe color all the way down. I was like, it's fine. Whatever background color we end up having down there, we'll just do that. But I think I am going to add it. I think in the long run, I'll be better off if I do. I'm like, why is that side of my leg getting cold all of a sudden? The blanket wasn't covering it. And we'll get a little more definition to our peaks here. Soon enough. Now he kind of took titanium white with that. Do we want to do titanium white or do we want to do like the cream? Do we want that stark whiteness? Probably for snow, right? Excuse me. Like, that's probably what we should go with. Because it's more like snow defining the ridgeline than it is like sun glinting off of it. Kind of situation. You know what also might be fun is to do a bunch of like needle felted squares and then like come back in with like some embroidery maybe and add a little bit of of like embellishment or stuff like around the edges and kind of like sew them all together kind of situation. Like leave just enough of a seam around the edges and then maybe like stitch in like fake frames around them all and have it as a wall hanging. I wouldn't use it as an actual blanket. Number one, that would be heavy as heck. And number two, it might change its shape when you go to wash it. So I wouldn't recommend actually using it as a blanket, but as a wall hanging. Still might be a little heavy as a wall hanging, but still. Might be interesting. Just trying to make sure that we've got all of our shape filled in here. It's a little hard to see this color. So I will be thankful for the white. When we come back in for that, I can find my peaks again because I kind of lost them in there. Like I can kind of see where I'm at, but it's a little tough in there. So we've kind of got this like dark patch kind of coming in. Alright, just want like a drop of water. I don't need much. Don't need very much at all. Alright. Didn't realize I still had that sitting on the timeline. Okay. We'll fill in this guy. Like, I don't know, maybe I should like try to maybe fill that in a little bit more along the edge at least. At least so I can find it, right? So we have some idea, roughly, of where we should be. The one thing about using colors that feel like they're kind of in the same shade range is that it's like, oh wait, where did it go? I can kind of make that out. Alright. So, I probably should do the white now, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna take our smoky brown gray color here, and I'm gonna start to fill this guy in. Right. I was gonna make a fluff snake, but then I was like, maybe we shouldn't go quite that thick. But we'll see. But I feel like we need some kind of ground here. He's already got some ground built in when he did that liquid black and kind of ended up with like a gray tone there. And it might not be like super perfect coming in here, because we still have to kind of put our river in place, and there's gonna be some trees and some grass and whatnot, but it's kind of because of that grass. I was like, maybe we should have something going on here, right? So oh, my hot chocolate's still kind of lukewarm. Still not in the mug I would have preferred it in, but oh well. Alright. I can't get that back. And now we have a paint water mug that's definitely a paint water mug. Because with the damage to the edge to it, there's no way I would accidentally pick it up to drink out of it. I mean, I might go to pick it up, but I would see the damage on the edge and be like, oh, no, no, no. I've only ever done that once. I feel like everybody's done it at least once. Like, as soon as it hit my mouth, I realized, I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And I was like spitting it back out. I was like, no. Like, what 7 hells am I doing? Alright. So we kind of got off to a meandery start and then a fussy start, but I don't think we've done too bad with this guy today. Like, all things considered. There is a beachy one. I think that one's gonna be actually kind of tough because of how small we're working. I usually enjoy his beachy ones. They're definitely a challenge. They're a challenge at 18 by 24. I can only imagine how much of a challenge it's going to be at 3 by 3. Right? We don't have a whole lot of room for error, but then again, maybe we do have room for error because of how small it is. We might be able to just put in the suggestion of something instead of going full ham on it. We'll have to see how things are looking when we get to that one. That one's that's in the shape of like the scallop shell thing that I was talking about. It's definitely later this season. So I'll probably end up with a few thin spots on this ground going in. And that's okay. I'm going to try to tell my brain it's okay. Because we've got other color kind of coming in around it. I wanted something else down here though. Especially on this other side. Where we're going to have, oh, that really is. How did that corner get that stretched out? We're gonna have like this grass coming in. I wanted something there underneath of it. It might not matter when we go to get the grass in. Like, it might be fine. It might not have been visible at all, but it might be just fine. Because the grass is kind of coming up the edge of our mountain here a little bit. Alright, so we've got a little bit more here to finish filling in. That was just a little too much of a gap. My brain was like, no. And sometimes we just roll with it. It's like, okay, brain. Like, it might have been fine, but now my brain's like, no, 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 no. I've learned to fight it on some things, and other things it's like, alright. This is what we're doing. Alright. I'm not sure how far this grass goes down. He's got some trees hanging out over here that we saw briefly. Right? But I didn't really pay attention to what was on this side further down. Like, obviously we have this grass that we are prepping to come in, right? But I don't remember what else there was. There is the tiniest spot, and it is driving me absolutely mad. Like right here. My brain's like, it needs to get covered because the grass isn't gonna be able to figure it out. And I'm like, it might. And my brain just wouldn't let it be, so. I mean, it's gonna be covered by the frame anyway, so I don't know why I'm being weird about it, but I was being weird about it, so. So here we are. Work on getting our base color down here along our bottom edge. I mean, do I think the tapes really helped us? Probably not. I mean, I can kind of see where this is like stretching. So it probably didn't do much of anything, but you can kind of see where it's like bunched and a little bit wrinkled. We'll see. I won't make a final decision on that till we get done. And we get a bit further along. But you know, we'll see what happens. As always. We still have to work in our river. And that I'm not really sure how big that's supposed to be now, because you would think a piece that was titled Winding River. Wait, was it Winding River? Winding Stream. Excuse me. Thought river didn't sound right. The stream would be a little more prominent. But, you know, it's his piece, whatever. Just my thoughts on the matter. So it does feel like we're tightening this side up a bit more. You can kind of see it happening as we are tapping in this color here. Don't know what color I'm gonna make the grass. Oh, hold on one second. Okay. So, started out saying I was gonna try not to do the fluff snakes in this section, and then ended up doing the fluff snakes. Because it's just like habit at this point. Alright, so. And I know I still have to come back and like outline these guys in the white. Haven't forgotten. Just not quite there yet. I was like, let's get this in first. While I still have this color pulled out and at the ready. Honestly, the way I have stuff stored right now, it was kind of a trial to grab it. Running out of storage space. I mean, it didn't used to be an issue, but I had to get that second container because my stacked drawers didn't want to cooperate. And the one drawer got warped, or the shelving unit's warped now, and kind of need like a better, I don't know. I don't know what I need. Maybe like actual shelves and then put the containers on the shelves. But I don't have room for that. So that's not gonna work. We don't think the crabs are alive anymore. We haven't seen them surface in some time now. We saw them once when we got back from vacation, maybe twice. And it looked like maybe they had been coming up when we were asleep. And now we haven't seen any sign of them. So we've been swapping out food and it doesn't look touched. And he curated and raked the sand in just a way so that we would see shell drag marks, and haven't seen anything. So we've still got the crab tank up, and I had suggested maybe we get some shelves, but we don't know what to do with the stand or the tank. The tank was out in our shed, but I don't think we can get it back in the shed now. And we're not sure if we want to get rid of it just yet. Like, we're kind of hesitant to, because it was an expensive tank at the time that we got it. Stand has definitely seen better days, but it's still solid enough to hold the tank. Right now, we're both a little hesitant to rashly get rid of it. I still have a 30-gallon one. I potentially have a 30-gallon one in the shed. I don't know if it's been damaged or not. I was kind of thinking maybe we would get a gerbil or something, but we have the guinea pigs for right now. And he's talking about at some point down the road getting a bearded dragon, but he's going to need an entirely different tank setup for that. So he wouldn't be reusing that tank anyway. Ooh. But we probably should investigate that so we can turn the hot pad off so it's not pulling more electricity unnecessarily. Because the crabs have a hot pad. It's like 70 degrees in the tank. I want to climb in there. It's toasty. Definitely a lot warmer in that tank than it is in the rest of this room. So this isn't going to be like stellar coverage on this color, but I did want to get kind of the majority of our base felt covered with it. So I just want to get like this big gap section and that big gap section there. Right, because I'm trying to make sure it doesn't get too thick. Right, because we still have other color coming in on top of this. Okay. Like I said, this was just kind of a rough color fill in. Just to get everybody sorted here. Just enough to fill in all the real major spots here. Alright. So, I think we're gonna pause it there for today. Just because I don't want to get involved in the next step when it's gonna be a little bit involved outlining our mountain there. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time to spend on it. So that'll do it for today. We'll pick this back up next week with outlining our mountain to actually be able to find it, and putting our little bit of our snow on there, and then starting with our grass, and we'll just keep rolling from there. I don't know if we'll finish this one next week. I know the other two that we've completed we did in 2 sessions each. This one I don't know. It kind of depends. I feel like we still have a good ways to go here. So we'll see. We'll see. This one might be a 2.5 session one. But we'll figure it out. So tomorrow we will be back, and we'll be back in Planet Zoo. And we'll be figuring out the placement for our bee animals. Like, I was starting to set up the staff area back there for that next lettered section. We'll see. I was kind of messing around with the boat ride. I don't necessarily know that that's where the boat ride's gonna go. It might. We'll see. We'll see. Haven't fully decided how I want to plan that out yet. But we'll figure out something. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Don't forget to follow the socially links down below. And that'll take you to the Instagram, the Ko-fi, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube channel. Hope everybody has a good evening. And until next time.